Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of internet. She used a lens that had a super high magnification to see her optic nerve.
Alright, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and then try to get my optic nerve here. Come on. There she is. Let's get a full lens. Oh yeah. Guys. How freaking cool.
Back in 2017, researchers at the University of Cambridge trained sheep to recognize human faces from photographs displayed on a screen. The sheep were shown portraits of 4 celebrities and over time learned to identify them reliably, including when the photos were taken from different angles, a skill that had previously only been demonstrated in humans and primates. The study was part of broader research into Huntington's disease, which affects face recognition in humans. It turns out sheep are considerably smarter than most people give them credit for. Researchers studying shark behavior in New Zealand captured something they were not expecting. An octopus had attached itself to the back of a shark. What makes this unusual is that the two species rarely occupy the same environment. Sharks tend to stay near the surface, while an octopus is typically found on the seabed.
Every Captcha you've solved for nearly 20 years has been unpaid work for Google. Let me explain. In 2007, a Carnegie Mellon professor named Louis von Ahn realized that hundreds of millions of people were solving CAPTCHAs every single day, and all of that brain power was being used to identify these squiggly letters. And so he builds a new system called reCAPTCHA, which instead of showing you distorted text, showed you 2 words. One of the words the system already knew, and that was your test, but the second word was scanned from a real book or newspaper that the computer couldn't read. If you got the known word right, the computer automatically trusted your answer for the unknown one. This whole time you thought you were proving you were human, but you were also transcribing books for Google. By 2011, reCAPTCHA had digitized the entire Google Books archive and 13 million articles from the New York Times dating back to 1851.
This is a colony of army ants attempting to build a living bridge across a gap between 2 surfaces. Army ants do this by linking their bodies together, using their legs and claws to grip each other and form a physical structure that other ants can walk across. The bridge is not planned by any individual ant. It emerges from thousands of simple decisions made simultaneously across the colony. At one point, the bridge collapses and the entire group falls together. Within seconds, they reorganize and start again. Researchers study this behavior because it offers insight into how complex, coordinated structures can emerge from groups with no central leadership. This guy decided to remind all of us about just how amazing planet Earth is.
I really don't think we talk about how fucking insane this planet is enough. Like, really, Brev, how are we even bored? You're telling me that over there in that distance, there's huge bolts of electricity going off through the sky, hits something, pulverizes it. And we're just all like, yeah, mate, that's the lightning. And then this thing called water currently floating on it, except sometimes it's a solid. You can knock someone out with it. Heats up a little bit more, vanishes, disappears. And it turns into this. And we look up, we see that. We're like, oh yeah, it looks like it'll rain today. That sucks. Bro, what do you mean? There are parts of Earth that just randomly open up and spray glowing red liquid into the air. Rock, the thing that's famously solid. And then there's the caterpillar, this little crawling tube. Goes into a cocoon for a few weeks, dissolves itself into soup, sits there a few weeks, comes out with wings. Wings. Brother, it can fly, and we're just like, oh, look at that butterfly. What do you mean? Yeah, butterfly, it's wizardry, brother.
During a deep sea dive in the Atlantic Ocean in 2021, researchers captured footage of this jellyfish. Scientists believe it may be a species that has never been formally identified before. The ocean is estimated to be around 80% unexplored, which is part of why discoveries like this are still relatively common at depth. Just a heads up, there's some flashing lights in this next clip. Please skip ahead 20 seconds if you need to. This person built a Tesla coil and placed a strawberry on top as the discharge terminal. The electrical arc you can see jumping from the strawberry is essentially a miniature bolt of lightning. The strawberry is simply acting as the point from which that discharge launches, which can be almost any conductive or semi-conductive object placed at the top.
Water, iodine, let's put it inside the water, and then this iodine solution, I'm going to put a vitamin C tablet in here. You know what's happening? This is what we call as a redox reaction, whereby the iodine molecules turn into iodide ions.
This guy made a device to help him win the Google game. Researchers at an Australian biotech company have trained living human brain cells to play Doom. Around 200,000 neurons were grown on a silicon chip and connected to the game using electrical signals. Different patterns of neural firing translate into different in-game actions, moving, turning, and shooting. The cells are not watching a screen, they are responding to electrical stimulation, and their responses control the character. It doesn't play very well, but it plays better than a system firing randomly, which suggests the neurons are actually learning something.
Today I'm going to show you the effect of how rotation can stabilize the gyroscope. Right now, there is no rotation inside the gyroscope. If I tap in any direction, the gyroscope will move, receiving whatever direction I'm giving it to it. If I want to stabilize this, give me a sec. All right, I'm gonna spin this inside as fast as I can, and you'll see it will become super stable. Let's go. All right, now if I tap in any of the directions, you see that it's not moving anymore. It's super stable. If I want to change the direction of stability axis, I just take it manually, but it's super hard. It's kind of tricky. And I can change, and now it's again stable in a different axis. Now, if I want to go back to zero stability, I stop this inner wheel spinning, and now if I tap in any direction, it moves again. So this moment of inertia is the exact principle that keeps the ISS attitude steady in space. Isn't it super cool?
In this experiment, two people are trying to lift a 20-kilogram weight off the floor of a swimming pool using nothing but a bucket and air. The principle at work here is buoyancy. When you submerge an object, the water around it pushes back with an upward force equal to the weight of the water that object displaces. By pumping air into the bucket, they are replacing water with air, which is far less dense, dramatically increasing that upward force. Once enough air has been added, the buoyant force exceeds the weight of the object and it lifts off the floor. This is the same principle that allows ships to float and submarines to control their depth. It turns out zero gravity is quite useful for photographers.
Tonight is a super new moon, which actually means there's no moon at all. The skies are really dark, so it's the perfect chance to show you how I take my nighttime pictures from my iPhone. All you're gonna need is a tripod. This is the setup I've got going on. Nothing fancy. First, use your main wide lens, not the ultra wide or zoom, because it's got the best sensor for low light. Then you want to tap night mode twice so it offers you the 30-second exposure. I also recommend that you shoot in Pro RAW because it holds a lot more detail of the stars in the sky. Once the 30 seconds is over, you should have something that looks like this.
The Rock of Gibraltar is regularly draped by a cloud formation known as the Levanter. It is caused by warm, moist air blowing in from the Mediterranean and condensing as it passes over the peak, while the surrounding sky stays clear. The wind that creates it is common throughout the year, but the cloud itself only appears when wind speed and moisture levels hit a fairly specific set of conditions. When they do, the rock essentially acts as a trigger point, and the same cloud keeps forming in the same place.
This is super cool. Dale is training the robots how to actually do real tasks. So he's generating data from his ability hand that he's wearing right now, and then you can see when he's moving the hand, it's streaming live. We can capture all that information and then use that to train the robots to do things. So he's wearing these Meta Ray-Ban glasses, what he's capturing right now, and we can sync the data coming in through Isaac Lab to his Meta glasses so we can use that to train different tasks. So he's got an eyedropper with him right here, so a pipette, and he's going to use it on this beaker and suck up the pipette and then use that food coloring to put in the other beaker. And you can see on the screen all the touch sensors being activated as he's doing this task. And then what we can do is sync that to the camera, label all that information, send it into NVIDIA's GR00T, their visual language action model, as well as their world action models. We can then have the robot arm do the exact same thing and then make this go to a robot dog or even a humanoid robot. What we build for humans benefits robots, and what we build for robots benefits humans.
Did you know that pupils are the last part of your body to stop working when you die? It's because they dilate
If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably like this one as well. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.